This is KLEAN Radio.
Welcome everybody out there listening on our flagship station 790 KABC or on XM 165, or everybody listening on KLEANradio.com. That's KLEAN with a K. We're a show about addiction and recovery and the life after, people getting sober. And one of the cool things about the intro that we just heard is, you know, I could stop when I want to, Doc. And in the studio tonight with me, instead of the great Andrew Spanswick, is the amazingly talented Dr. Jason Coe.
Hi, Judah. Good to be here.
Welcome back to KLEAN Radio.
Thank you.
And I think that's a really interesting question, actually, you know, for people that are driving right now in their cars or listening online. Can you stop if you want to?
Right.
I mean, is that what sums up if you're an addict or not?
Well, I think when you're in active addiction, you really can't stop, and, that in some ways that's the very essence of the illness, and
right.
You can't say no. But once you are detoxed and with proper care, you can make a decision.
Why don't you tell everybody out there a little bit that's just tuning in, you're a psychiatrist, you do therapy, you happen to own also part owner of KLEAN Treatment Center, but you're one of those people that the last thing you want to do sometimes, because we read about prescription drugs all the time and people doing that, you're one of the people that actually believes in therapy as much as you do medicine. Well,
I think therapy is the key to it all, really, and that is you help somebody understand themselves, and you make an interpretation, or a series of interpretations that help them understand themselves and understand why they've gotten addicted. You can change their lives. Medicine helps a lot. Medicine can really be a life changer in terms of mood and all that. But at the end of the day, it takes more than just medicine.
I have a really important question, though, to ask you. Why are you not watching the Oscars tonight? Did you DVR them at least?
It's being recorded. I'll look at the results. Yeah. I may or may not watch them.
Because you have a bit of a crush on Jennifer Lawrence, and who doesn't?
I think she did a fantastic job. She was very multidimensional from an emotional point of view.
Is that one of the best movies ever portraying mental illness, Silver Lining Playbook?
Well, I'm not so sure about that. I don't think they did a good job of portraying bipolar. These people are really much more disturbed than what we saw. Yeah, he could talk fast and he could yell and throw things, but it's much more than that. It's much more complicated than they...
But at least they took a stab at it. I mean, they really took a stab at a...
They took a stab at it, and, it was an optimistic movie, which I liked, and it showed that people with mental illness can get better, and indeed, that with proper treatment, they do get better. There's always hope.
I couldn't agree with you more. And if you're listening right now, this is a great opportunity for you to ask any questions you have about addiction and recovery. Give us a call at 888-375-3613. That's 888-375-3613. There's so many people, Dr. Coe, that are driving around that really they're lost. They feel like they have this addiction and they can't get out of it.
Well, that's true. The statistics say that only 1 in 10 people get the treatment that they need, or that even come to treatment. So that's a frightening statistic.
That is a frightening statistic.
That we're not reaching people, and lives are being ruined, and the people around them, their lives are being ruined as well. Maybe ruin's a strong word, but in some ways it isn't, because these people can't live a decent life while they're addicted, and their families go through so much torture trying to help them. It's really sad.
It is very sad, and I don't think enough is spoken about that, exactly what you're talking about the family illness. That the addiction affects everybody.
That's right. It's traumatic to not just the person who's addicted and the terrible life they have to live. That's always based around getting drugs, using drugs, and they're not even living life. but it's traumatic to their families as well and friends.
Doc, let's go to an unknown caller. Welcome, unknown, to KLEAN Radio.
Hello.
Are you there out there, unknown? Hello. Welcome to KLEAN Radio, unknown. Okay, unknown is gone. But anyways, Doc, so there's actually an interesting story, and we were talking about this before the show, is, in Colorado right now, we're not against, by the way, we're not against, it's a funny thing. We're not against drugs. We're not like one of those people that are saying, don't drink, if you could do it without issues, right?
Sure. I mean, it's a matter of whether it's destroying somebody's life or not, harming their life.
No, totally. Let's go to Angela in Boston. Angela, welcome to KLEAN Radio.
Hi. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for calling. How could we help you?
I guess I have questions about naltrexone and antabuse.
Okay.
And the benefits of taking them to help stop drinking.
First of all, what's the first one she said, Doc?
Naltrexone.
And what is that?
Naltrexone is an opiate blocker, and we do use that both by mouth, and there's also an injection called Vivitrol, which lasts for an entire month. And the advantage of naltrexone in either of those forms is it cuts cravings for alcohol.
And antabuse is obviously you take it, and if you drink, you get viciously sick.
You get sick.
Right.
But there's a lot to be said for antabuse as well. I mean, if you take it, you know you can't drink, and so every morning you take the pill, and it's a commitment to not drink for that day, and it makes it easier.
Angela, are you calling about yourself, or are you calling about a friend?
I'm calling about myself.
What Dr. Ko is talking about, all these things are great. They're a great, it's like rehab. Going to rehab is a great head start. But you need to also deal with the other things. It's like, getting your stomach stapled to lose weight. If you continue eating the same way, it's a vicious cycle, Doc.
Yeah. Well, you need an entire program.
Right.
You need to be going to AA. You need to be in a 12-step program. And you need support socially in the program. You need support from your family. And I think you need to be in some sort of therapeutic program.
So you're in Boston, Angela. Are you still drinking? What's going on?
I'm trying to stop, but I never get very far. I screwed up.
That's okay. I always say the greatest program that's helped alcoholics stay sober was started by people that relapsed and had a hard time staying sober, and that's Alcoholics Anonymous. So you're not alone in this boat. It took me 4 years to get 1 year sober. I would try in and out, and then one day it clicked, Angela. So don't beat yourself up.
I try not to. I get really frustrated.
Angela, are you getting help?
Are you drunk right now? Or have you been
No.
drinking? Okay, I'm going to tell you what, Angela, and I want you to do me a favor. Stay on the line. And our producer, Rand, is going to talk to you, and hopefully there's something we could do to help you. We have a lot of people all across America that, especially in California, we have places all over that we may be able to get you help if you so choose. Does that sound okay, Angela?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, Angela, I mean, it's, what else can you do right now? Do you work?
Yeah.
And is it affecting your job? Is it affecting your life?
Yeah. No, definitely. It's not going in the right direction.
Okay,
definitely.
so it's time to get some help, Angela. And I'm going to put you on hold, okay, Angela? Thank you so much for the call. Doc, that's, how many people right now are going through what Angela's going through?
Millions.
Yeah. And what we're saying to people out there that are listening is take that jump, take that leap. And it's one of the hardest leaps to take. And it's going into the unknown, which for alcoholics and addicts, which for most people is the scariest thing.
Well, absolutely. And it's going, it's facing one of the hardest problems there is to deal with.
Yeah.
And it's also facing your life. It's one of the things I like to say.
And I always say waking up sober sometimes, Doc, is one of the hardest things.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Addiction is a distraction from living your life in a truly honest and emotional way.
By the way, if you just tuned in, you're listening to KLEAN Radio. That's KLEAN with a K. Give us a call at 888-375-3613. That's 888-375-3613. We're in the studio tonight with psychiatrist extraordinaire and somebody I trust with my life, Dr. Jason Coe. And
I
welcome
feel
as
my
always.
head swelling.
Yeah, it should swell because you're actually one of the good dudes, and you're one of the good psychiatrists. But let's go to Chuck. Chuck, welcome to KLEAN Radio.
Well, thank you for taking my call.
Thank you.
I just kind of wanted to. I heard your show last week. It was really good, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm a big fan of KABC, and you guys are doing a great job. So
Thank you very much, Chuck.
Thanks whoever it is for putting you on the air. Question I have for you is, I don't really drink that much. I mean, during the week, I might have 1 or 2 beers throughout the week, but every weekend I like to go out and play pool, and I get drunk when I play pool pretty much every time. But
You have to almost. No, I'm just joking.
Well, my wife gives me a really hard time. She's telling me I'm an alcoholic and I need help, and I really don't drink that much. And I do get drunk every Saturday night. I get drunk, but that's just once a week. And I'm trying to get her off my back. I don't feel like I'm an alcoholic.
Okay.
So I just wanted to get your opinion on the air.
Has it caused any harm to your life?
Just that it makes me and my wife fight a lot. I mean,
Okay,
Well, that's a consequence.
well, because her dad was an alcoholic, and so she gets bad, like, it gives her bad memories and stuff. But I don't want to stop doing what I'm doing. I love playing pool, and I love having my one night to get out and blow my steam off.
Right, and which is totally understandable. But so, Chuck, she's saying to you, you're an alcoholic. You're saying to her, no, you're not, right?
Right.
So why don't you, for, let's say, 3 weeks or a month, Doc, right, say, you know what, I'm going to give up Saturday nights of drinking. I'm going to play pool and see if you could play pool without the drinking. And if you can, Godspeed. Have a little test with your wife. That way you say to her, if I could do this for a month, you don't bother me anymore. And if you can't do it for a month, maybe your wife might be right.
All right. Well, that's a good idea.
That makes sense to you?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah, so, and you know what? I'll tell you what, Chuck. Give us a call next week and keep us in the loop. One way or the other, we're not. I can promise you one thing: we're not judging you, and let us know. Keep us abreast of the situation.
All right, I will. Thank you.
Yeah.
And try it 1 week. So let's say next Saturday night, right? Next Saturday night, you're going to do it. I want to know how it went next Saturday night. I'm not saying don't have a couple beers in the week. That's on you. But next Saturday night, or even, you know what? Maybe one night, give up the pool and the beer and take your wife out.
Well, I really do like going out and playing pool, but maybe all right.
I'll tell you what, if you could do this for a month, and your wife is probably listening, Dr. Coe and I will treat you and your wife to a very nice dinner somewhere if you could do this for a month. So you both passed the test, you're both right. One of you was right, one of you was wrong. You're located in Long Beach. We'll do something on the Queen Mary for you.
All right, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think in the long run, you're going to be better off improving your relationship with your wife rather than your relationship with your beer.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, Chuck. Thanks a lot for the call.
Thanks for calling.
All right.
Talk to you
Thank
soon.
you. Bye.
If you just tuned in, you're listening to KLEAN Radio. That's KLEAN with a K. Give us a call at 888-375-3613. That's 888-375-3613. Doc, it's confusing. What is alcoholism? What is addiction? Because everybody always thinks it's the Bowery bum. In New York, there was the Bowery, and everybody Skid Row. But you were talking about consequences.
Yeah, I think that's the real test. Is the consequences to your life? Is it harming your life? That's the real issue here.
And how many people are in such denial about the consequences? That the consequences, it's like when you first start out, right, the consequences could have meant you missed a day of work. And you start being okay with the consequences going lower and lower.
Well, and then you start not showing up in all kinds of ways. But, now I think the thinking is that there is a continuum from somebody who is probably okay with their drinking to somebody who is on Skid Row because of their drinking and drugs as well.
Yeah, and I want to talk about consequences because it's a funny story now because they actually survived. But I want to talk about this in a couple seconds. Is these two brothers that won the Kansas Lotto? They won $75,000, and they blew their house up. I mean, and they were chilled. Everybody's fine, so I could laugh about the story. He had 2nd-degree burns on the body, but they were smoking meth, and they were, and you're from Louisiana, so you were telling me on the phone the other day.
I've seen people, right, who've blown up their houses and
multiple times.
Yeah, and have lost children.
Right. Let's not get into that because that's not as funny. Let's get into the people that survived, but no.
Well, they survived, but they're beat up. I mean, they're harming their body, and it's sad.
No, it's extremely sad, and it goes on. So, I mean, it's so prevalent.
When you first told me that story, I thought it was a meth lab that blew up, because meth labs blow up all the time. And
these guys decided they were, essentially what happened was they, went to the stove with their butane lighter, and there went the house.
Yeah.
So, I'll bet you what's going to happen is
bad judgment. Next time they might not get off so easy.
Right, and here's the thing about addiction, Doc. The only thing they'll probably change is they won't use a butane lighter. That's probably one of the lessons they're going to learn through this story.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah. And I want to tell you, it's like every addict's great dream is of winning the lotto, right? When they're drinking and using. But I got to tell you,
so they can continue to drink and use.
And one of the things about getting sober, and I always say this to people, getting sober truly is like hitting the lotto, because it just opens up it's an amazing thing, and you see it all the time.
Well, that's one way to look at it.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense. If you can get sober and begin to live a life, it opens up very new and great vistas.
Yeah. And let's go to CJ in San Jose. Welcome to Clean Radio, CJ.
Hey, Judith. Dr. Co, how are you guys doing?
Good. How are you, CJ?
Hey.
Just real quick, I've been listening to the show for 2 years, and it's one of my favorite shows. It's psychotherapy.
Thank
and
you.
Judith,
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, you said some great things. I'm struggling with the alcoholism and an opiate addiction, and I'm just slowly finding myself just checking out more and more. So I know that I'm at a problem. And,
Okay.
Yeah.
You're at that point, CJ, where it's like you can't get high, and you're not so. It's that place we get to.
Yeah, and I just like in my head, I just I want to raise the white flag and say I want to surrender to this and get help. And I've actually done a consultation over the phone with somebody from KLEAN Rehab.
Okay.
And I'm just in I've got my whole family living here with me, my adult daughters, my ex-wife, and I'm supporting everybody. And I can't check out. I got to get this fixed. And,
right. And you're saying you can't. When you say CJ, hold on. When you say you can't check out, you're basically saying you can't go to rehab for 30 days.
No, I can't check out of my life. I got to get back into my life.
Okay.
I need to go to rehab because I know that I need to get it's like almost like a reset. I need to learn how to deal with my problems in a different way. And but I got so many people that depend on me that's the stress right there. Where I know I need to do something. I need to do something quick. Cause I'm not going to go out this way. I'm not going to. This isn't going to. I don't want this to overcome me. And like I said, I've been listening for 2 years, and this key things you said. About waking up Monday morning or going to bed Sunday night with that guilt of being drunk or knowing that you're going to feel like crap the next morning, and that just is. It's just so anxiety ridden. It's just really, really tough.
So what are we going to do, CJ? That's the question.
How can we help?
Yeah, how could we help?
I need to get. I need to get into an environment where I can work on this.
Do you have any sort of health insurance, CJ?
I've got like I said, I got a small amount of health insurance that would cover, a 30-day stay, but it wasn't enough to cover the full 30 days.
I'll tell you what, CJ, can you only go to rehab because we also just opened up a facility in Washington State where we also take insurance there. I know your family's here. I'll tell you what, we're going to try to work something out with you, CJ, right, Doc?
Yeah, definitely.
And we're going to try to figure out something.
Bless you guys.
And we're going to try to figure out something with your insurance. The number is 888-601-6040, right?
Right.
I beg of you to give that a call. We're gonna just try to help you as much as we can. And we want you in rehab tonight. We want you in rehab tomorrow.
I want to be in rehab tomorrow. I want this done. I don't want to hang on to this anymore. I don't want to linger. I'm lingering in a no man's land. You know, I'm lingering in a. It's worse. It's the worst place to be is when you're in the middle of it. You're not totally succumb to it, but you know you're going to get there, and you're just going down this drain, and you're not down the drain yet, but you're going to get there. And just being a self-motivated guy, I know that that's where I'm going. I can't do it on my own. You know, I've always known to fix my own problems. I can't fix this on my own. And you know, I go to church, I do all the right things, but I can't fix this physical addiction and my choices I make under these substances.
I'll tell you what, CJ. You know, you're going to be okay. And Doc, what are we going to do?
I'd like to offer you a bed.
Yeah.
And at one of our facilities.
Yes. Yeah, and we'll tell you what. That's really amazing, Doc. CJ, we're gonna run your insurance. We're gonna figure out what we could do and what we can't do. We'll figure it out. So I don't want you to worry about that. I want you to give that number a call right now. Okay?
Yeah, we can tell you want it.
Yeah, it's 888-601. I want you to stay on the line, CJ. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
God bless you guys.
Thank you, CJ. If you just tuned in, you're listening to KLEAN Radio. That was CJ, who's Doc. That's addiction right there. That sums it all up.
Right. But this is somebody who has thought about it, and he's come to the point where he wants it.
Yeah. So, Doc, I think that's amazing that you just, that we're going to try his insurance. We're going to get him, and we're going to get him in rehab tomorrow, no matter what.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. And for everybody that's out there that is like CJ right now, there is hope. And I beg of you to give us a call at 888-375-3613. We'll try to help you tonight. That's 888-375-3613. The discussion continues at KLEANradio.com.
Are you struggling with an addiction that's ruining your life? Want to have a confidential conversation with a professional that will immediately assist you? Do you suspect a loved one is abusing drugs and would like a free drug testing kit and consultation? KLEAN Treatment Center is standing by right now to help those with addictions and the people who care about them. Call 888-601-6040. That's 888-601-6040. Or go to KLEAN Treatment Center, that's KLEAN with a K, KLEANTreatmentCenter.com.
Welcome back to KLEAN Radio. We're a show about addiction and recovery, and we're a show about a lot of things, and it's really cool to get calls like people like CJ that just called and don't have to go through it anymore.
Right. Yeah, who can be helped.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there's one message we want to get out there is hope. We can help you.
Yeah, and I think it's sometimes, Doc, it's so hard because the negative in the media so far outweighs the positive of people getting help. Sadly, obviously, Mindy McCready died this week.
That's just who I was thinking about.
Yeah.
And, somehow she lost hope. She felt like it was impossible to go on with her life. And that simply shouldn't happen.
Right.
This is somebody who had every economic advantage you could hope for, even had children to live for, and what she did was a terrible thing, and it was an act that was born out of frustration and hopelessness. And I can only think that somehow someone failed to get the message of hope to her.
And if the people out there that are listening that are hopeless or feeling hopeless or in that dark tunnel, there is hope.
Please, please call us.
Yeah, give us a call at 888-375-3613. That's 888-375-3613. Let's go to Ara. I hope I pronounced that right, Ara, in Glendale?
Yes.
Welcome to KLEAN Radio, Ara.
Hi. Like I said to the guy, it's about my daughter. She's a heroin addict.
And she's been in rehab a couple times?
Yes.
Okay.
And this first time we sent her to Oklahoma, and she stayed there 5 weeks, but she managed to get in a fight, so they had to put her out.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Second time, she stayed only 10 days in Pasadena. So.
And now she's using again?
Yes.
Yeah. And is she using it high V?
I'm sorry?
Is she shooting heroin?
Yes.
Okay. So this is serious.
Not all the time.
Yeah.
She has a probation, and she goes there, and sometimes she's taking Suboxone some days, but anytime she feels that she has a couple of days.
So there are legal consequences. Yeah.
It's amazing, though. I feel your pain, Aura. I want to tell you something that I spoke about last week on the show, and I say this, I'm sober a little over 14 years. And one of the biggest reasons I'm sober is because my father always used to say as long as his son was alive, there was a chance. And then one day it clicked. So I want you to not give up. I know you're in what feels like a hopeless situation right now. I beg of you to give us a call. And, it's absolutely a free call. I mean, we'll try to help your daughter out. We'll try to help you out as much as possible. Because, I feel your pain. I know the sleepless nights you're going through right now, thinking about that your daughter might die. And that's terrifying.
It was very close 2 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's terrifying, Doc.
Well, it's a very serious
I
problem.
have another daughter. We have another younger daughter, which is...
Yeah.
It makes it even worse.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen.
Here's the thing. We have a rehab facility located in West Hollywood. You're more than welcome to come by, check out the place, and see if it's, because here's the thing. We treat addiction, but we don't just treat the addiction. We treat the underlying issues, Doc, right? And that's something a lot of rehabs don't deal with.
Right. And that's what I was talking about before.
Yeah.
I think people lose hope when they don't realize that there is emotional help. Yeah, because once you get sober, it's very, very hard, and that's where you need to reach the individual, the addict who's recovering, and so.
All right, but the one thing is there is hope. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Can you hold on the line?
Stay on the line
and just take our number and just. There are solutions out there, and just please do that.
Come by for a tour, anything.
Anything.
Okay.
Feel free to call anytime. It's completely free. Thank you so much for the call. And Doc, it's,
We've had a lot of tough calls tonight.
Yeah, and it's heartbreaking. But the one thing that we could promise people is that there is hope. We're not saying we could fix every situation, but we're saying there is a chance that it can get better.
Oh, absolutely. It can always get better.
Yeah.
It's not just a chance. It does. Yeah.
If you just tuned in, you're listening to KLEAN Radio. Give us a call at 888-375-3613. That's 888-375-3613. My co-host with the most has decided to show up. The great Andrew Spanswick is in the studio.
Hi, Andrew.
Hey.
And you got stuck in traffic. Traffic is bad.
It's been a struggle.
I actually think I saw you on TMZ taking pictures at the Oscars of celebrities. So I think that's what you do.
I hate to say it, but I had to stalk my favorite celebrity, and I got caught.
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, now I'm, I got out of the handcuffs to let me go. So.
And Andrew and Dr. Ko are two amazing people. I mean, Andrew's one of my BFFs. We saw a horrible movie yesterday, Doc. We won't say which one it was, but
we did it right because we had your girlfriend between us, which I can't believe you still have. But
yes, and but
when are you getting married, Judah?
That's wow, way to put me on the spot. But let's go right away. We have another call. We have Bobby in Orange County. Bobby, welcome to KLEAN Radio.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm well.
Good.
I'm calling for the first time or inquiring about some issues I may have. I don't quite know if I'm an addict. I take Adderall during the day.
Okay.
Got a very high stress job, and there's a lot going on constantly. And I started also taking Xanax at night to help me sleep.
And what about in the morning?
Adderall to
wake
up.
Okay.
Adderall wake up and stay focused for 12 hours, and then,
Well, you've called the two perfect people because Andrew and Dr. Ko have a lot of experience. So
psychopharmacology. Are you drinking as well?
I drink every night, yeah.
How much are you drinking?
I have 2 beers, when I get home, with dinner. It's not like I sit with a 18-pack to be wasted. It's just I have 2 to 3 beers max.
Are they 40s?
What?
No.
What is it?
No,
That, I mean,
but
why do you
but
think
they
you?
are- but they-
Why is it that you
but
think
they
you
are
have a
full
problem
flavor.
with addiction? I mean,
Well-
is it? Do you think you have a problem with addiction, or do you think you have a problem maybe with managing the substances you're on, and maybe it's affecting how you're working, or you might not be at the point of full addiction. You might be just where you're mismanaging medication and alcohol.
I mean, that could be it. I just find myself detaching myself from friends, family, things I used to do. I mean, I was a very, 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 very avid in working out and mountain biking and a bunch of other stuff, and all that stuff I have no interest in it. I just simply work
and use drugs.
It sounds like you're going into an emotional void.
Well, it's just, I'm kind of numb to everything.
Yeah.
I'm very, very, very successful in my career, and I've found myself leaning on these medications more and more. And
Right.
Are you using more and more as well?
I mean, no. I mean, I don't. I take them on usual doses, but they're higher doses.
The doses are going up.
Is it the same doctor that prescribed those two medications?
Yeah. I mean, I started out, I've always had this same dose. I switched doctors, and then he finally got me back up to what I was at. So, but I think to most people it would be considered a lot.
Yeah, why did you switch?
Because I wasn't able, I mean, the work stress load got higher, and I've got a lot of responsibilities at my age, so
I can understand that.
Yeah.
Stress is actually a big killer, and I think that one of the things we see a lot is self-medicating.
And in this case, extreme.
even with the assistance of doctors.
Yeah.
We go in there. You spend very little time these days with the doctor most of the time. You end up getting prescriptions to help you function, and then it starts affecting your whole life. And I think as much as what you're taking, what you're describing personally is how it's affecting your life,
right,
and what's going on is more of an indication that there's an issue than necessarily the medications themselves at this point. I'm sure Jason, Dr. Coe here, probably has some insight into the effects of Xanax and Adderall mixing, but also just looking at what you're doing, the fact that you're recognizing there's a problem, there's definitely ways that can be addressed. Dr. Coe?
Well, I'm concerned that you're getting into a vicious cycle here where you're taking a pill to wake up, you're taking a pill to calm down.
And 2 drinks at dinner.
And drinks,
you know. And I'm sure we're leaving a little bit out if we're really being honest, Bobby. I mean, I'm sure the weekends get a little crazier.
Oh, the weekends are yeah.
Yeah, they're more Sodom and Gomorrah like.
There's lots of alcohol. There might be a few other things mixed in there for the extra fun nights. But
the question is, though, Bobby, let's get to the question. What do you want to do about getting help? Because obviously you have an issue. Because you're a smart guy.
I think I do, and I don't want it to. I don't want it to snowball.
Right.
And but my biggest problem is I cannot leave work. I manage a lot of money, and I can't walk away from.
Right. You're saying you can't go to rehab for 30 days. Here's the
no way.
Right. Here's the point, Bobby. If you keep on using like you are, and then it snowballs, it's going to be a moot point. You're not going to have money to manage anymore. Eventually.
That's a valid point. Very valid point.
Yeah, I think there's something in the business and of medicine that we call the continuum of care clinically, and that means that there's multiple levels of care. So right now you're just seeing an outpatient physician. Right. You're seeing them for the treatment of stress, which and attention. So that's probably the lowest level of care next to just talking to your pharmacist. So that can be effective for some people. And it probably was effective for a while. It sounds like, you've been struggling on and off about how to get the dosage of the right medication to deal with the issue, but it's obviously not addressing the underlying issues as to why you're so stressed and how you're managing stress. And you're leaning more and more onto medication and alcohol and other drugs. That's a recipe for disaster. So you're what I would call someone who's probably actively abusing these drugs, to not necessarily purposefully to get high, but you're abusing them to try to self-regulate
But on
and
the weekends
self-manage.
he is.
And on the weekends he's probably binging.
Yeah.
Right. So, there's the next level up is probably intensive outpatient or evening outpatient or working with a group of people on an outpatient basis where you can still continue to work and function, but get your medication issues addressed, as well as then start to look at the underlying problems as to, why you've decided to rely on these medications instead of handling your stress in a more effective way, such as exercise and, the things that you like, the things that that work, but that you've cut out of your life.
I'll tell you what, Bobby, here's the thing. I found a place. They're actually going to be guests on our show next week. It's a place called Lion Rock Recovery. They do outpatient. They do online rehab. And, so for
that's interesting.
Yeah, for somebody like you that works a lot, it's called Lion Rock Recovery. I suggest, go check it out. And if you're successful, so go at it at that pace. And if that doesn't work, and be honest with yourself, then you might need something a little bit, whether it's rehab for a week, rehab for 5 days, but just try out this place, Lion Rock Recovery.
And it's just a website.
And it's a website. Go to lionrockrecovery.com. I believe that's the website. They'll definitely just look up Lion Rock Recovery.
I can find it.
And
I'll find it.
And
we'll post it on our website too.
Yeah, we'll post it on our website. They offer visuals. And give us a call next week. They're going to actually be on the show, and let us know if you did that.
I definitely will. I mean, this is the first time I'm driving back from a conference, and just randomly, I usually don't listen to the radio, and I heard one of the guys talking, and I figured. I mean, there's been a few of my friends that are like, "Hey, man."
Yeah. That's how you know.
Yeah.
That's, when you start asking and you have friends that are
just starting to
say
point it
that,
out. Those are the warning
signs.
And if it's gotten to that point, you probably haven't heard it for a while. This is probably, for you to actually admit that you're hearing the message that, you might want to look at this. It's time to reach out. If that doesn't work on an outpatient basis, or if you end up not being able to find us, you can call our direct line.
It's 888-601-6040. That's 888-601-6040. Sound good, Bobby?
Yeah, and we got 24 hours, 7-day-a-week counselors that are able to answer your phones and help direct you into treatment. So,
okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's great. I really appreciate the time, guys.
And I got to tell you something, Bobby. It's amazing that you called in. Because it's the hardest thing to do, Andrew, right?
Yeah, I mean, they say most people wait 7 years before they actually reach out for help.
Most people are dead before they reach out for help.
Unfortunately, that's true. Only about 10% of people are actually actively getting treatment that have a problem.
So, Bobby, we're on from 6 to 7 every Sunday night. And you know what? One of our old shows, you'll actually love this, Bobby. We've had Leigh Steinberg in the studio. I don't know if you're familiar with who he is, but he lives in Orange County.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he was, for everybody out there listening, Leigh Steinberg was Jerry Maguire, first super sports agent, and he's sober now, almost 3 years. And one of my heroes, and I know you're in the financial industry, obviously, so go to KLEANradio.com with a K, and you can listen to a few of the old shows with him. It's amazing.
Yeah, he had some really good advice.
Yeah, it's good.
So I beg of you to do that, okay?
That's awesome. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you,
really good information, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks for calling.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Yep.
Thank you. I mean, it's amazing, right?
What I like about that call is it's someone who hasn't got maybe full-blown addiction yet. They're right on the verge. They're probably at the point where, they're in crisis, and yet they're recognizing it earlier and earlier. And that's one thing that I'm really encouraged that we're seeing is that you don't have to be at the point where you've totally destroyed your whole life before you reach out to help.
And that was Bill Wilson's, the founder of AA. That was his, his dream was that people didn't have to hit that bottom. They didn't have to lose everything.
And that's why we see people younger and younger getting into rehab as well. People are like, oh, how can you be 18 years old and go into rehab?
18, that's old these days.
I know that's old these days. And that people are recognizing earlier and earlier. And also later and later, we're seeing a lot of geriatric clients, people that are, 60 plus that normally would have never gotten treatment because they would have just died of alcoholism or drug addiction.
I think we have to change that name, geriatric. Okay,
they retire.
Why? Because we're reaching that age.
Yeah, it's like older hip people.
Older hip,
change the name.
I'm the one
hip.
who's reaching it.
Right?
Yeah,
I'm waiting for my
close,
AARP card.
Let's be real. The Judah is not close to geriatric age, even though physically I am.
Well, psychologically, you're like an old soul geriatric.
Yeah. It's not just psychological, but we won't get into that. that.
Okay.
If you just tuned in, you are listening to KLEAN Radio. Give us a call at 888-375-3613. That's 888-375-3613. Let's just go right away to Carol in Santa Monica. Welcome to KLEAN Radio, Carol.
Hi. There seem to be so many places for help with people with addiction to alcohol and drugs. How do people get off psychiatric drugs? Where do you go?
It's a great question, and Dr. Ko?
Well, that is a good question.
Let's be more specific, though, Carol. Which psychiatric drugs are you referring to?
Are you on addictive
Yeah.
psychiatric
No,
drugs?
it's my daughter.
Okay, what?
She's on Clozaril and a little bit of lithium.
Oh.
And having so many, she's been on it for years. The doctors have just said, you're never going to get better. You're on this for life. You know, this is it. It's like diabetes. You have to take it for the rest of your life.
Is she getting psychotherapy?
Well,
or they're just giving her medicine and telling her to go home?
No, that's it. They're calling it what? It's called stabilization. That means they take away every unusual behavior you have, whether it's dangerous or not.
How old is your daughter?
She's in her early 30s.
Early 30s. Okay.
What's her diagnosis?
Schizoaffective.
Okay.
She's not dangerous. She's not suicidal. She's not homicidal. She's just a normal person. And yet the side effects are definitely outweighing.
It's a very tough drug. It has a lot of side effects. It's also a very effective antipsychotic medicine, and it's used as a mood stabilizer along with the lithium.
The Clozaril.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no way, Doc. I mean, without having met her, we can't give that type of advice. The one thing I could tell you is, Carol, is Dr. Ko here is probably one of the best psychiatrists I've ever met in my life, because he's honest. He's open and honest.
Well, he's kept me sane for 22 years.
And he's kept me sane for the past 4.
She definitely needs guidance and support coming off this. There was a investigative journalist who did a lot of research on the outcome of people worldwide in terms of people not taking medication and those that did. And they're finding people like in India did far better than people in the States who are medicated.
Well, medicines are symptomatic treatment. They are not the answer.
Right.
They can help, and without seeing your daughter or knowing all the particulars, it's hard to give advice. But I do know that psychotherapy is a key component of treatment, no matter what the diagnosis.
And I've
seen, by the way,
just
they don't exist here in Los Angeles. We're just saying you can't get a psychotherapist.
Well, Dr. Ko actually has a private practice that does exclusive psychotherapy.
Right.
So.
Along with medication management.
Yeah. And that's if needed, Carol. There is hope. And it's funny that she's saying this, Andrew, because I'm a huge fan of that show, An Idiot Abroad, which you actually got me into. And I was watching this one episode where he was in India, and it was this contortionist, a bunch of naked contortionists, and he's meeting them along the way. And I'm like, yeah, they definitely need psychopharmacology. Yeah. So just because in India they don't take it, some of them probably do need it.
Well, Carol, it's interesting. Both Dr. Ko and I used to own psychiatric hospitals in the Gulf South. We had 9 that we managed.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. So we have a long history of working in acute care psych together. And Jason, Dr. Ko,
really?
Yeah. We've been. How long have you been doing this, Jason?
35 years.
35 years.
Wow.
So he's got a little bit of a head start on me, but
and he's 42 years old, Carol.
Yeah.
That's what makes him extremely special.
Well, I may look like I'm 42.
Well,
he's LA 42.
Yeah, he's LA 42.
But anyway, but Carol,
have you read Dante's Cure by Dr. Dorman?
No, I haven't.
I did read Dante's Inferno.
He took a patient at UCLA. That's an older study, and he would not give her drugs, and she was far, far worse than my daughter. She was actually paranoid, schizophrenic.
Carol, here's the thing. We are running out of time. Stay on the line. We'll get your number. Dr. Ko or Andrew will give you a call, okay? But here's the thing. You have to go into this, and I'm going to say this. I'm not the doctor here. Dr. Ko is, and Andrew's the specialist.
How do you spell Ko?
C-O-E.
C-O-E.
Yeah,
is there a name?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Dr. Alan Jason Ko.
Not to be confused
Okay.
with Alan.
What's your address for your office, Jason?
It's 116 North Robertson.
And do you have a direct call number?
Sure, my number is 310.
You writing this down, Carol?
Yes, I am.
310-601-4437.
And the one thing we ask is go in with an open mind. You know, it's whether Dr. Koh or anybody out there is saying yes to meds, no to meds, you have to have faith that there are some people out there like Dr. Koh that can help, regardless of what it is.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yes. Okay, so thank you so much for the...
Very encouraging. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
You're welcome, Carol.
Thanks for calling.
If you just tuned in, you are listening to KLEAN Radio. Give us a call at 888-375-3613. That's 888-375-3613. Andrew, I know you came late today, but we've had some amazing...
Better than never. Better late than never, right?
I told you got to get to the Oscar party early to take pictures of your favorite... It's like the one thing you would never do. And if you just tuned in, we're a show about addiction and recovery and hope. And tonight we've gotten a lot of calls from people that are in the hole.
I was listening on the way in. It's really impressive how many people have been calling in, and really with quality calls, people that have serious problems and issues. And I'm glad that we've been here to be able to give answers.
And also, like Dr. Koh was saying, there is a lot of hope.
There definitely is. And, it's not only medicine, but psychotherapeutic techniques to address people who are early in recovery. There's a lot we can do.
And there's not instant hope, and I think that's the problem sometimes.
Well, you got to understand this is a chronic illness, and it takes chronic disease management to see people through this.
I think that's one of the things that's really unique about our group is that we're doing exactly that. We don't just have a residential care center and that's all we do. We have access, nationwide to therapists, outpatient programs, and then we do have a really strong dual diagnosis presence, meaning that we're very, very aware of working with people on a psychiatric level as well as an addiction level, and that's been producing very successful outcomes.
So we had the call from Ara, who's talking about his daughter, who she's been in treatment twice. She left one treatment. She's addicted to heroin, and the hopelessness that the father, and we want to say to parents out there that are listening, there are a lot of 12-step groups that are free that you should be going to, that you can go to for help. One of them is, Al-Anon. There's so many different places.
But also that the parents should be getting help. I mean, the fact that people, are struggling. I mean, you put your parents through hell, Judah, and they stuck with you. And
thank God for therapy.
Right. And, we've said often that, we don't really believe in tough love, that it's important that parents stick together with their kids and help them no matter what. But that being said, it's important that they also do it the right way. And get help with managing their own stress, their own feelings, their own grief, their own pain. And these are things that need to be addressed just as much as the issues with the child, because it is a family issue,
And they get help with how to manage their addicted family member.
Exactly.
So that they approach it properly and that everyone can benefit.
There's so much anger around addiction when somebody when a family member's addicted, eventually it's so frustrating, and there's so many failures often, that anger can just eat away at you and be almost as damaging or more damaging than the person that's actually going through the addiction.
Which is one of the benefits of rehab. It sort of takes out the...
we also have family group where we work with the family and we work with the clients. I think that's extremely important. If you have someone who's addicted and there isn't any discussion about the family, we call it family of origin issues, working with the family and getting something going. It's very important that you have a full look at that.
We're running out of time, but let's take a quick last call. We have Denise. She wants to know. Welcome to KLEAN Radio, Denise.
Hi, I'm a parent of an alcoholic who's a 28-year-old, and my husband and I do Al-Anon and a lot of other things to get support. Mm-hmm. And he hasn't accepted the fact that he needs help and wants to get help, but I just wanted to find out what kind of integrative programs, if any, in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area. I'm currently working with a program here that does acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine for addiction, and wanted to see if there's anything in that area that does anything like that.
Well, first of all, I think the lack of acceptance of there being a problem is probably the primary issue, and you have to approach it level by level. So How you intervene with that would probably be the first issue. We certainly can get you resources in Washington, D.C., and we'll put you on with our producer and get a number and make sure you get hooked up with some resources in D.C. We're actually running really short on time, unfortunately.
Okay.
Denise, I'll tell you what, just stay on the line. I don't know, we don't know exactly the story, but the amazing thing today about rehab and about rehab facilities is you could get on a plane and go. And sometimes that is the best thing, is to get out of that, geographic, get away from the people and all the people, places, and things, as they say, which I'm sure you've heard in Al-Anon.
Right, and that's the excuse, is his job, which he's not going to have too much longer.
That's exactly right, so Denise.
Yeah, and if he has insurance, he might lose that insurance if he loses his job.
Right, and that's the thing the family's been trying to encourage him to get, but if he doesn't realize and he thinks he can handle it, then it's not much we can do.
But do you know what you are doing that's amazing? Is you're taking care of yourself. And that was the hardest thing for me and my family. When my family started to get better, I was in shock.
Let me tell you, we also work with teams of interventionists all over the country, so we can hook you up with an interventionist that can come in and help work with you.
Well, that would be great, because the amazing thing is I'm just finishing up a program, a clinical psychology program, and I'm developing an integrative program for treatment and addiction. So, I'm definitely knowing that I need to stay in my lane and take care of myself. So
Denise, thank you very much. We're running out of time. Just stay on the line.
Yeah, we're gonna hook you up with.
We'll get your info, and we're gonna get help.
Yeah, we're gonna hook you up with an interventionist and see what we can do about getting you and your husband some help together to make this go away.
That was the fastest hour ever of KLEAN Radio, Denise. So thank you so much. I mean, it really was, Andrew. I mean,
especially for me. I only had 30 minutes of it.
I know, not even. But Doc, I want to thank you so much, Dr. Jason Coe.
My pleasure.
Who's an amazing psychiatrist. He's a psychiatrist at KLEAN. He's a psychiatrist all over, to everybody. And the great Andrew Spanswick for showing up, in God's 50%. Time. And I know Andrew really appreciates that.
That's right.
And I want to thank everybody out there that listened tonight, everybody that's going to listen on Wednesday when we replay the show. If you're out there and you're going through a rough time, you could stop. The pain could stop right now, right?
That's right, yeah. And you can see it with video at KLEANradio.com.
And if you're just getting to a phone now and want immediate professional addiction assistance, call 888-601-6040. That's 888-601-6040. The number will connect you directly with KLEAN Treatment Center. Don't worry about money. Just give that number a call. That's 888-601-6040. The conversation continues at KLEANradio.com. Until next time.
Are you struggling with an addiction that's ruining your life? Want to have a confidential conversation with a professional that will immediately assist you? Do you suspect a loved one is abusing drugs and would like a free drug testing kit and consultation? KLEAN Treatment Center is standing by right now to help those with addictions and the people who care about them. Call 888-601-6040. That's 888-601-6040. Or go to KLEAN Treatment Center, that's clean with a K, KLEANTreatmentCenter.com.